Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new season of Delta Force Starfall. This update is absolutely huge, there is so much stuff in here to go over. There's a new 3v3v3 mode, new areas and maps, new functions like fortifications, and even dolphin diving, which is definitely a controversial one. They seem to have added Levolution to the game, there's new weapons and operators, just a ton of stuff to go over here, so strap yourself in. This may turn out to be quite the lengthy video, but I think you guys are really going to like this. As always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any future Delta Force videos. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support so far, always really appreciated. Okay, let's just crack on with this. There is a lot to get through here, so I'm not going to spend too much time on each subject. I will be linking all the patch notes down below if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. So first things first, Season 2 is starting tomorrow if you're watching this video on the day of release on the 18th of January. And it looks like the servers will be going live at 2 o'clock in the morning UTC. So that means I'm going to be playing definitely when I wake up in the morning. But it's a really good day. It's a Saturday, so great day for the season to release. So first thing here on the agenda is the new game mode. It is called Hot Zone. It's the 3 vs 3 vs 3 PvP mode that you've probably heard something about already. And it says here that squads have to compete in a compact map to secure and upload the Mandel Cell, which I guess is not quite a Mandel brick, but just a Mandel Cell. Victory is achieved by either eliminating all enemy operators or successfully uploading the Mandel Cell. Each round lasts approximately 2 minutes, and the first squad to win 3 rounds claims ultimate victory. So each operator starts with initial points, which can then be spent on different gear presets before each round. So it's almost like operations where you can equip body armor and helmets and that sort of stuff, and then you earn more points through kills, victories, and even defeats, so you do get something there for losing as well. You accumulate points to gain gear advantages that will then lead your squad to victory. Unlike other modes though, there are no general collectibles in this mode. There are only combat supplies like premium ammo, syringes and painkillers, and squads have one single objective: fight, fight, fight. So this sounds like much more of a kind of casual mode, definitely not as high stakes as getting into operations, but I feel like it bridges the gap well, maybe between the operations mode and the warfare mode. So I'm super excited to try that one out. Then we have a couple of new areas to fight over in operations as well. So for the Zero Dam map, we have a new area called Underground. And then for Space City, we have another area called Broken Bridge. Both of those look pretty interesting to fight over there, so excited to try that as well. And then there's also going to be a Lunar New Year event called the Fall of Skynet. Wait a minute, Skynet? Isn't that from Terminator? Can they even use that? I guess they can. It says during the first 1 to 2 hours after midnight on Lunar New Year's Eve, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't even know when that is, rockets will randomly launch and explode across all maps as part of the celebration. So 1 to 2 hours after midnight on Lunar New Year's Eve, we're going to have to figure out exactly when that is, and what is the time zone there. Is that going to be like the Chinese New Year, like 2 hours after midnight there? Who knows, but I will let you guys know as soon as I find out more. So moving on to the warfare mode, we have some very juicy mechanics being added here. So the first one is a fortification system, and if you're a Battlefield player, you'll probably be familiar with what this is. So they say the new fortification system hammer tool has been added. Operators can now use the hammer to build fortifications, including various types of cover and obstacles, to help establish defensive lines and secure victory. So you press the new tool button during a match to bring out this hammer tool. You can then identify all built or buildable fortifications within range using the new construction markers and highlighted outlines. Construction progress is synchronized globally, allowing multiple operators to build together, and then each building action is synchronized as well, and partially completed fortifications will retain their progress. So you will be building these fortifications along with the other players on your team. So each building action deepens the highlight outline color and awards points. Points are also awarded for completing fortifications, destroying fortifications, fortifications taking damage, and kills from cover. And additionally, builders receive point rewards when allies get killed using mounted weapons on their fortifications. So I really like that. Like if you build some sort of a chain gun or a machine gun there and one of your teammates gets a kill, you're actually going to get some of the points for that kill. That's a really nice incentive actually. Now the next thing I'm not so sure about. So this is a new movement ability and it's called Leap. And they say it's an evasive maneuver available to all characters exclusively in the warfare mode. And here are a few of the key points. So Leap can only be performed by pressing the corresponding key while sprinting. It cannot be performed while not sprinting. Leap is directionally fixed. You can only leap forward. So I'm imagining this to be basically dolphin diving, where you leap forward, you land on your belly, and then you're prone. However, you cannot aim or shoot while diving, but you can use all left-hand throwable gadgets and some non-offensive items while diving. I do believe the grappling hook on the new operator, which we'll get to a little bit later on in the video, is actually a left-handed weapon, so presumably you can leap and grapple somebody towards you at the same time. Leap ends immediately if killed or hit by skills with control effects such as the grappling hook or the QLL-32 Crouching Tiger. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's Viron's knockdown grenade launcher thingy. So I'm not quite sure what I think of that one. I suppose I'll have to see it in action, but Delta Force already feels to me like a game that has a lot of kind of cheesy stuff. Like, people go prone all the time, they just hit the Z key, drop to the floor, and try and drop shot you in that way. You've got people on head glitches all over the place because the bullets are essentially coming out of the heads of the operators, not out of the weapons. You've got the leaning system in the game that really doesn't help with that either. So there's already quite a lot of annoyances when you die to those sorts of angles and in those sorts of situations. I'm not really sure if dolphin diving is potentially going to help this or make it way worse. Even though you can't fire during the animation, if somebody sprints around a corner, dolphin dives on the floor, and then they're going to be able to get prone quicker than if they just hit the Z key, that may well turn out to be a problem. So we've also got 2 new maps coming to Warfare as well. I've mentioned these before in a couple of videos, so we'll just go quickly over them. We've got Knife's Edge, which looks like a shipping port here with lots of cranes and shipping containers. And then we have Trainwreck here, which is this massive iron bridge with a train running through it, obviously collapsed, and is very reminiscent of Battlefield 5's Twisted Steel. Now this next thing is, I think, super cool. So there is a new major event on the Ascension map called Giant Tower Destroyed by Skynet Satellite Debris. So they say, following the Skynet satellite crash incident, players can now use heavy firepower to attack and ultimately collapse the spire in Ascension Zone D. So that's the very last area that you fight over. After the collapse, tunnels beneath the spire will be exposed and Objective D will be relocated from the platform to beneath the spire, creating a completely different attack and defense experience. So we have seen this sort of thing before from Battlefield, of course. Battlefield 4 made this famous with their Levolution system, and one of the best maps or most interesting maps for it was, of course, Siege of Shanghai. There you would have a skyscraper that collapsed down and it completely changed the flag that was, instead of it being on top of the skyscraper, it would now be down amongst the rubble. This sounds like it's going to be much the same thing, but judging by how epic Delta Force looks and all of the explosions and everything, I think it's going to be quite the sight to behold. I know that whenever a cruise missile comes in, as annoying as those things are to get killed by, I'm still always just kind of like, wow, like, you know, the atmosphere of it just really amazes me still, and I think this is going to be much the same. Gameplay-wise, I guess I'll reserve judgment on that for now, and we'll just wait and see once I've played tomorrow. Next up, we have some new class gadgets. So we have the high explosive grenade launcher for the assault class, so kind of like the grenade launcher that they already get, but this one is going to have even more infantry killing potential, I fear. And then we also have the smoke grenade launcher for the support class. So this is going to get insane. If you're playing a Stinger, not only are you going to have the regular smoke grenade, which is quite big and meaty, but you've also got the smoke drone, and now you can have a smoke grenade launcher as his class gadget, so he can have 3 different types of smoke. That's probably going to get a little bit silly, but that's probably what I'm going to end up running because smoke is just so powerful in Delta Force. By the way, guys, the thermal sights that are coming in this season do not see through smoke. It has been confirmed. I've seen that in other people's videos and stuff. I think that was a bug or a misunderstanding, but apparently it doesn't look like they do see through the smoke. Then, of course, we have the new operator, Alexei Petrov, codenamed Sineva. So this is the guy with the big riot shield and the grappling hook. I've already shown off some footage of this guy in a couple of videos here before. He's got this grappling hook. You can fire it across at enemies, grapple them towards you. You can then smash them with the shield and down them. Continue to smash them until they die. Certainly looks like a very annoying operator to play against. He also takes reduced damage from all explosions, so whether it's an RPG, whether it's a grenade, a tank shell, whatever it is, it's not going to kill him if he's got the riot shield out. And it says specifically here that his tactical gear is called Total Armor, and it says equip a heavy vest that reduces bullet and explosive damage, and deploy an extendable shield for full body protection. Shield bash can knock down enemies or deflect enemy throwables. So it sounds like even if he doesn't have the shield out, you're still going to take reduced damage from bullets and explosive damage. And then his other gadget is the razor wire, so he throws out a grenade that explodes on impact and deploys razor wire. Enemies passing through that will make noise and take damage. And then his operator trait is the rear guard, so when his riot shield isn't equipped, the blast shield is mounted on your back, which then protects you against incoming bullets from behind. Yeah, he sounds pretty good, doesn't he? We'll see how this pans out. I can only expect that absolutely everybody is going to be running this operator once Season 2 lands and people have actually unlocked him, so that's going to be wild. Then we have 3 new weapons. So first of all, the marksman rifle, the SR9. Then we have a new submachine gun, the QCQ-171. And finally, a light machine gun, the QJB-201. No real details on those or what they're going to be like. We'll just have to try them out, and I will surely make some guides for you guys here on the channel of the best loadouts for them. We've also got some new attachments coming to current weapons in the game. So for the M870 and the M1014 shotgun, they are getting a speed loader. Not sure what that's going to do, but presumably it's going to decrease the reload speed of those 2 shotguns. And then we have a new 45 round extended magazine coming to some weapons. So maybe this is going to be for the SMG 45. At the moment, I think you only get a 40 round mag for that one. So it's already pretty good. Probably one of the best weapons, if not the best weapon in the game right now, so a 45 round extended mag there will be kind of crazy. And then of course, as I already mentioned, we have advanced thermal fusion holographic sights. We've also got a combat scope here, an 8x advanced thermal sniper scope, etc. So a bunch of thermal optics coming to the game, but as far as I know, they can't see through smoke. So those are the main features of the season. Now let's get into all of the small balance changes, the nitty-gritty of this huge update, because there are just as many of these, and some of them are actually quite important, so I certainly would recommend sticking around to the end. So first off here, vehicle control improvement, improve vehicle handling and change terrain in areas that previously blocked vehicle passage. I don't really hold too much hope that they've done a massive overhaul on the vehicle handling, especially when it comes to the air vehicles. I just don't see that happening, but who knows, maybe I'll eat my heart on that one. As for the blocked vehicle passage, this has been a big issue with, of course, the ground vehicles. There are so many little tree stumps on the trench lines maps and on Ascension that you can just get stuck on with the vehicles, so it sounds like they've changed some of those around. That's not going to happen as much, at least that's my hope. They've also added in-match vehicle attachment changes, so they've added vehicle modification menu to the deployment screen, allowing customization of vehicle weapon stations. So that's really cool because, you know, depending on the game mode that you're playing, let's say you're playing in the recon helicopter, maybe I want to use rocket pods if I'm playing attack defend on threshold, but otherwise I want to use the AGM if I'm playing like King of the Hill. They have also adjusted waist-high cover heights to minimize head glitching, so that's great there actually. I was talking about this just earlier on, of course, in the video. Head glitching is a massive problem in Delta Force. I thought they may fix it by making the bullets come out of your chest instead of your head, thereby meaning that you had to be a little bit above the cover, but it seems they're going to take the other approach to it. They're just going to change the cover heights so that they are a little bit lower down, and now you are going to be exposing slightly more of your soldier's model whenever you get on one of those head glitches. They've also made some pretty good changes to the current maps in the game, so I'm going to mention Shafted here in particular. They've added a container area behind the station, expanded the area behind the tunnel boring machine, they've added new routes to the agricultural lab, and they've optimized the attacker spawn point in Zone A for attack and defend mode. So new routes to the lab there is a really good change. Of course, you know, this map in particular here is just a massive clusterfuck, let's face it, and if you don't really like that kind of experience, it's probably not the map for you. Hopefully this should alleviate and allow for a little bit more flanking there. Now this next change, it's pretty controversial. It's not really clear if this is only for Essential, because they've written here Ascension King of the Hill rule change, so I assume this is only for that one map, which is kind of weird. So they've reduced the required resources for the victory, which is fine, but then it says successfully capturing zones no longer grants additional resources, and getting downed no longer grants resources to enemies. Focus on maintaining control of more zones than the enemy team. This is now the only path to victory. So this is the way that Conquest in Battlefield, of which this game mode is clearly inspired, has always worked. yes, you get points in Delta Force for holding the flags, but whenever you kill people on the enemy team, you also get points for your team in that regard. What they're saying now is that getting kills basically has no effect on the overall score for your team. It's simply going to help you capture those flags, which I think is a good thing in a way. It's going to stop people just going for kills and they're going to actually have to play objectively. But at the same time, let's say you're playing in a vehicle, like you're in the attack helicopter, you literally cannot cap flags, right? The only thing you can do is kill enemy players on those flags to help your team capture them. But it still feels a little bit bad that if you kill like 100 players, you're not actually helping out your team in that big of a way. And what's even more weird is that apparently this change is only going to be on Ascension, unless that's a typo in the patch notes here, but I guess we'll find out about that. So next up, they've made big changes to the scoreboard. So they've removed the rescue count and the capture count metrics, and they've added 4 new scoring categories. So they've got medical support, which is rescue and healing actions, engineering support, anti-vehicle, fortifications and repairing actions, objective support, which are objective-related actions, and then tactical support, which is operator abilities and call-in attack actions. The next one here that interests me a lot is a gunsmith improvement. They've improved the logic for saving custom loadouts with duplicate names. So most of you who use this system will have probably realized whenever you try to overwrite one of the, 5 custom slots that you have, you can't save it with the exact same name and overwrite it. You have to put in a new name or add a letter to the end and then save it again and go back to the original name. So I hope this means that they finally fixed that bug. Alright, next up we have some operator balance adjustments here. So for the Recon class, they have added new weapons for all Recon operators, so they will now have access to both the SCAR-H battle rifle and the AUG assault rifle. For D-Wolf, his triple blaster has got a pretty big nerf, so the blaster fuse delay has been increased from 2.5 to 3 seconds, so you're going to get a little bit more time to move out of the way of the grenades, and the minimum damage has been reduced from 10 all the way down to 1. And likewise, Viron's magnetic bomb has seen some changes, so the maximum damage actually increased from 100 to 125. Maximum damage radius, however, decreased from 4 meters down to 1 meter. Bomb damage against tanks down from 45 to 35. They've reduced the magnetic bomb throw distance, which is a change that I called for. I think the distance on it was just way too insane. And then in the operations version here, we've actually seen a maximum damage reduction from 125 down to 110. So Toxic as well, she's seen a couple of buffs here. So the adrenaline effect radius has been increased by around 3.5 meters, it looks like there. So that's the radius that you can buff your teammates with. And then some buff improvements here as well. So level 1 ADS speed reduction increased from minus 25% to minus 30%. So now she gets a minus 30% buff to like ADS speed. So she's going to be a little bit quicker there. Aim punch reduction has been increased as well here. Instead of getting a 30% reduction, she now gets a 40% reduction. Now for Lunar's Volt Arrow, as if Lunar wasn't already good enough, if you hit a vehicle with the Volt Arrow, as you'll know, it doesn't really do any damage, but it is now going to apply a laser indicator lock-on effect. So this is like running with the SoFlam gadget with Lunar, but you don't have to equip that gadget at all because she just has it passively on her Volt Arrows. That's pretty insane, and that is going to lead to a lot more people using javelins, locking onto those vehicles and taking them out. Okay, next up we have weapon balance adjustments. So first of all, they have reduced vertical and horizontal recoil gains from each recoil attribute point. So basically, recoil reduced across the board. They have significantly increased lens stability gains during firing from each stability attribute point. So again, more stability there for all the weapons. Significantly reduced the effect of stability on crosshair jump when taking hits. So basically all of that visual recoil that we've been seeing in the game and all of the shaking around has been significantly reduced here. Then they've reduced weapon stability attributes by 50% for all attachments that affect weapon stability during firing. They've restored lens stability values to normal levels for all attachments that affect lens stability during firing, and then specifically for the CL19, they have reduced the recoil from 42 down to 40, but significantly increased horizontal recoil. I think the CL19 already had a decent amount of horizontal recoil, so I'm not really sure why they do that, but basically there's been just a huge overhaul of the recoil system. They've reduced all of the recoil down on the weapons, but then they've also reduced how effective all of the attachments are. So what is the ultimate result of this going to be? Are all of these changes just going to sort of cross each other out, and we'll have things pretty much feeling the same way that they normally do with good setups on weapons, and maybe it's only going to affect a weapon if you don't have any attachments and you just unlocked it. I guess we'll see about that, but this could mean I'm going to have to make a completely new tutorial on all of the Gunsmith system if things have really been changed around. So let's jump into the warfare specific changes here. The AWN sniper rifle, basic damage has been changed from 85 up to 100, range as well been changed from 55 meters down to 30, so more damage but less range. The K416 assault rifle, this one was already pretty good, but the abdomen damage has been changed from 16 up to 21, so that is now going to be a 5-hit kill in the abdomen. All of the long barrels now have greater control penalties, but provide increased stability. I think that's wrong, because it says here that handling has been changed from -7 to -10, so you lose 10 handling, and stability has been changed from 4 to 6. But in the text above, it says they get greater control penalties, but that's not what they're showing here in the change. They're showing that you get a greater handling penalty. So I think there's a typo here, but bear that in mind when the patch does drop, guys. All the long barrels are going to be somewhat different. So here we have some warfare class gadget balance adjustments. So the anti-personal launcher damage against vehicles has been reduced from 10 down to 7. That's the grenade launcher there for the assault class. The Stinger missile launcher, this is the anti-air launcher, has seen some changes as well. So missile flight speed has been reduced from 150 meters per second down to 120. So that will give pilots a little bit more of a grace period to hit their flares or otherwise try and get out of dodge. But the maximum turning angle has been increased from 45 degrees to 50 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit easier to hit your targets there as well. They've also removed the Claymore Mine from the support class, and then the active denial system is no longer going to be able to intercept vehicle main guns and missiles, as well as Engineer's AT-4 launcher, the Stinger, the Javelin, and loitering munitions. And then finally here, they have added a distinct lock-on indicator for vehicles when targeted by the laser indicator, differentiating it from other weapon lock-on warnings. So now, whenever you get locked on, you're going to know, is it a SOFLAM, is it going to be Lunar with her Volt arrow, or is it an actual missile that's being locked onto you? So that is about going to do it for all of the patch notes, but I do have one more thing to you guys, bit of sad news in fact. In a previous video, I mentioned that Black Hawk Down, the campaign, would be coming with Season Starfall, and that was initially the plan, but it looks like they've had to go ahead and delay this now. So in a recent announcement, they said, with Season Starfall on the horizon, we want to update you on the Black Hawk Down campaign. We deeply appreciate your enthusiasm and understand how much you are looking forward to it. Your expectations drive us forward to deliver the best possible experience. To ensure the campaign meets our shared standards, we will need a bit more time for final polishing and optimization. As such, Black Hawk Down will now launch during Season Starfall. I think they mean like later on during the season. We will share the new release date soon. Thank you for your patience and support. It means everything to us. So, not going to be coming quite yet, but I do think that is the right decision by Team Jade. If they need more time to polish it and optimize it, that is 100% the right route to take. Of course, Black Hawk Down is going to be on Unreal Engine 5, not Unreal Engine 4. So unlike that engine, 5 is way more difficult to optimize. It's got a lot of cool bells and whistles on that engine, but it's notoriously hard to run. So any more time spent on optimization, I think, is a good thing. So, ladies and gents, let me know what you think about all of the information that we've just been over. I know this was a very long video, so feel free to chime in if you watched it all the way to the end, because you're the real ones out there. I really appreciate you. If you did enjoy it, leave a like down below, subscribe for more Delta Force, and I will see you guys in the next one.